What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Before we jump into today's video, guys, I want to say if you do want to enjoy it, please do drop a like on it down below. It is greatly appreciated. And do subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to stay up to date with all of our latest content, make sure to hit that button down below with notifications on so you never ever miss an upload. Enjoy. Move on to horrible news, because it feels like it's becoming a weekly segment of the show, but an online abuse received by another Irish player, Shane Duffy, his latest victim. He shared vile messages that were sent to him on his Instagram story from a young man on Instagram, obviously, which included mocking Duffy about the passing of his father, which is just so sick. And the worst part about it was the fella that sent him the message put on his own Instagram story, quote, "Just to say everything I said to him," which is Duffy obviously, "was to see if he would actually reply. I was only going to see if I could get a reaction from Shane Duffy himself. It didn't work, but I shouldn't have brought that up." And for me, that just tells you everything you need to know about the type of person, people that send these kind of messages. They're just so sad, lonely, fucking pricks.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to add as well. I think the young fella played for Crusaders up north. I think he was in their youth setup. So there's a load of stuff like James McLean put it up, and he was like tagging Crusaders and the NIFL, and he was like, "What are you going to do about this?" Like, so I mean, honestly, like, even though he's only a young fella, like, he has to, like, if he's not kicked off Crusaders, like, I mean, what precedent does that? What precedent does that show? Like, you can't be saying that. And people, I think, just sitting behind the screen, people think there's no consequences to their actions. Like, so I think it was extremely disappointing that the young fella from Kerry didn't get anything in court, because the judge took it as, because Ian Wright accepted his apology, he was like, "Oh, therefore, like, it's all good." Like the way that this kind of stuff stops is you set a precedent, and you set an example, really. Like, so more of that needs to be happening, and I think it's good that Shane Duffy and also like other players like that are putting it up. And it's only happened the last few weeks. Like, this stuff happens on the regular, I'd say. Like,
and that's exactly what I said. Like, this has been going on for years. It's just people are funny starting to post it when it's with black players or with Irish players and stuff like that. And I mean, I remember the judge. The quote I saw was the judge said for the kid with the who was it again? Sorry, that
Ian Wright.
Yeah. The judge said he didn't see anything to gain from like charging him. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's setting a message like that. There's no gain from charging people for committing crimes. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah. Because I think when he sent in the screenshot of the fella in court, everyone was like, I was expecting to be like 12.
Yeah, I thought he was like 13, 14. 18, he played a game of FIFA. He said something stupid, like, but he's 18.
He's not a kid, like, he wasn't a kid.
I couldn't believe it. No matter what. I couldn't believe it when I saw that line. The judge thought there'd be nothing to be gained, and then at the end it was like he donated €500 to an anti-racism charity. It feels like we have this chat every week, and we do, and it's important to. But the only word I can think of it is just so grim. And like, I don't know what the answer is. There's a lot of different views, but it's just so grim. Like, that's all I can say, really. And I hope something's done about it. I hope your man's kicked off the Crusaders team, and there's proper consequences, because this will not stop until there's proper consequences. That meaning there's real life consequences. So, like, you get kicked off your sports team, you get a knock on the door from the police the next morning. There's financial impacts or like job impacts. Your heart just goes out to McLean and Duffy and people, anyone who kind of receives
ignorance and stupidity. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was last week or when it was, but I think it was on Off the Ball. James was talking about it. He was like, he's playing like, I mean, he's marking or standing on Darren Randolph, like he's playing for Stoke against Middlesbrough at the time, and they were shouting like horrible things at him, like feeling this and all that. Like the goalkeeper for the other team, for your team, is Irish. Like, it's just so brain dead. It's just stupid. It's the same with black players and stuff. Black players on both teams, and they're racially abusing them. Like,
100%. I never. 100%. Funny you say that. I'll never forget. I was, I think, 13 or 14. I went over to Chelsea United, and there's a Chelsea fella, a dad with his son sitting behind me, calling a nanny every name under the sun. And I remember sitting there thinking, like half of the Chelsea team are black. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
But your kid as well, like your kids.
Yeah, your kick. I'll never forget. Like, with a
That's where they're
slow
learning
song
from.
as well. Yeah. And I was just like, half the Chelsea team are black as well. Like, I couldn't get my head around. And yeah, me and Ross were Griff Ty, I think he might have been there too. A ground, I think 2 years ago, and we had a similar situation. And yeah, shit like that just needs to stop, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's my point about like how the judge can say he doesn't see anything to be gained from it. Like how can you
So much to be gained.
how can you not see what's to be gained from punishing someone for committing a crime? Like it's like saying any crime. Like, yeah, he's already done it now. Like there's no point punishing him.
It's
So
encouraging.
everyone else just do the crime again. Like
Yeah.
The message that goes out is just
the
there's
next
no
person who does it,
consequence.
why should he be punished and the first guy wasn't? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and seems to be no repercussions for these acts. But what really kind of like hurt me was like Shane Duffy was like, I think he said something like, that isn't the exact quote, but it was like, because he had a string of messages beforehand, and he was like, all this abuse is like okay or something like that. But the last one really got to me or something like that. It's like he's gotten used to like, all this abuse beforehand, like, and he's gotten used to that. He wouldn't have shared it. Yeah. Then the last comment
he literally was like, abuse is okay, but like surely there's a line being crossed here. It's like, well, any of it is stupid. Like I guess you could understand someone just saying like, oh, you played shit or something like that, especially opposition fans, stuff like that. It's stupid that people do it, but like
it comes with the territory a little bit. Like,
yeah. And it's like I know we all have like a kind of, you know, a rib of players and stuff, and we criticize players or whatever, like, but you know, when you go across like and you're messaging people to go out your way just to like make someone feel bad, really, like what's the point? Like, what are you gaining from it? Like, you know, like you're just sitting there, do you feel better about yourself? It's just so stupid, like, and I think until there's more repercussions, then it's going to continue to happen, really.
Yeah, no, because there is a huge difference between, say, if we criticize an Irish player for playing badly, then going across and sending them personal messages of being like hateful messages. Like, you're allowed as football fans, and as it's not like football players can like accept. Like, it comes with the territory, as I said. Like, where if you criticize their performance, like you're allowed to do that when you're professional. And getting paid thousands of pounds a week to be criticised if you have an off game. Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Duffy has like a threshold. Is threshold the word? Like, he's received so much abuse now that some of it becomes like normal. And McLean said the same when off the ball. He said like, most of the stuff I get, it's water off a duck's back, and he's just immune to it now, which is like mad in itself.
Once his family gets called into it, he's like, my family shouldn't have to deal with that and stuff. Which, like, you shouldn't have to deal with it either. Like, shouldn't be.
It's just so grim.
Well, guys, that was a clip from our latest episode of Cautiously Optimistic, our brand new live show that streams every Monday at 8 o'clock. If you did enjoy the clip, make sure to drop a like on it down below, and if you don't want to ever miss out on the live shows, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. It is much appreciated if you do it on our road to 3K. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch us in a bit.